think you pressed the live button or it magically went live. Hi, everybody. We're excited you're here, except for I can't hear Cassie, but we will secretly talk to each other through sign language, apparently. Hi, Carrie. We can't wait to hear what's said either. The problem is I'm having trouble hearing Cassie, but I know it's possible. It's all going to happen soon. Hi, Deborah. We're excited to be here. Welcome to everybody who's coming on. I think you guys can probably hear me. Oh, Cassie's going to put on her headset. I can't hear Cassie. I can see some of your comments. And I'm hoping that we can get some sound rocking and rolling. Hey, Jenny. I love seeing all these new names. I'm super excited to be here. I'm really excited to talk about your books, and I'm feeling very sad that I didn't think to pour myself a glass of champagne. I feel like I failed miserably at this entire thing, but as soon as this is over, I will be definitely having a glass of champagne happen. For sure. For sure. I think we are just trying to get the sound rocking and rolling, but thanks to everybody who's here and being patient. I see you guys there waiting for us. It's all happening. Hi, Michelle. Michelle has the champagne toasting. There's champagne toasting happening. I love it. That is awesome. We are going to get this rocking and rolling, you guys. I feel like it's all happening. Hi, Gina. Cassie is working on her audio. We are excited to see you guys. There's a bunch of you here. Cassie can write me questions in the comments. Have headphones. I could hear you typing. You guys are so helpful. I'm trying to read your comments simultaneously. Hey everybody, I'm trying to keep the show going because I think you guys can hear me, right? Can you comment if you can hear me? And then I think there's there's always a little bit of a lag with Facebook Live, but I think you can probably hear me and not Cassie. And if that's true, definitely comment and let me know. Yes, we can hear Angela. I am totally audible. It's fantastic. It's magical. The delay on Facebook Live is so funny. I don't understand what it's about, but I am so excited to be here. And I love this Be Live where we can talk to each other. Oh, there's some sort of microphone action happening. Hello. I will be reading Cassie's lips. And very interestingly, the microphone is not working. This is actually the second Facebook Live where somebody tried to use a microphone and it didn't work. So apparently these Be Lives do not like microphones very much. I would all show you my kitten instead because nobody needs sound to look at a kitten. But the kitten is so fast asleep. I'm just looking at her little ears over there, and it would absolutely be bizarre. I wonder if Cassie wonders what I'm saying. She's probably like, this lady is hijacking my Facebook feed. I'm so excited you guys are here. If you type in questions that you have, if you guys have questions, you can ask me your questions while Cassie's working on her sound. And I would be happy to answer your questions. I am looking at, I'm actually looking at the feed so I can see your questions a little bit delayed. But if you were here and you knew what you wanted to ask, I am happy to chat with you about that. And I know that we're going to talk about writing a book. Cassie has written 7 books with us and 1 without us. I think she's like an 8-time author, which is amazing. And maybe you are writing a book too, or you have thought about it. The light is on. Cassie's asking Robin if he has suggestions. The one thing that we did last time, because we did have this problem with somebody else who tried to use a microphone, I don't know what the deal is with microphones in BeLive, is we had to close this Facebook Live, open up another impromptu one, and then he used a different device to get there. But I'm going to talk to Jenny for a second. So Jenny, this is my new book. It's Make 'em Beg to Publish Your Book. Make 'em Beg to Publish Your Book. It is my 3rd book about writing a book. So I have written about 17 other books on finance in Hong Kong and Windows Server backup and politics and the First Amendment and political biographies. But I have 3 books about writing a book. One is called The Difference, 10 Steps to Writing a Book That Matters. The second in the series is called The Incubated Author, 10 Steps to Starting a Movement with Your Message, something like that. And then this one is Make 'em Beg to Publish Your Book. Make 'em Beg to Publish Your Book. And this book is really all about using your book to grow your business. So how does it tie into that? So the subtitle is How to Reach a Larger Audience and Make a Full-Time Income in the Extremely Overcrowded World of Personal Development. So I tend to work with law of attraction people and life coaches, Reiki practitioners, other healers who are really committed to making a difference in the world and changing people's lives, people who have a powerful message of hope and healing and transformation. And for many of those people, making a full-time income is not always easy. And so Make 'em Beg to Publish Your Book is really about how you can reach that larger audience and have the impact you want to have and not feel like you're a little mouse screaming in a big room saying, pay attention to me. How come nobody's paying attention to me? And that's what I feel like so many authors, when they come to us, they have a great idea, but what they don't know is how to get that idea heard. And once you figure that out, you can get publishers begging to publish your book. Robin is suggesting that Cassie start a new broadcast, so we may do that. But Jenny, I am glad I was able to answer your question while you're here. And there's so many of you guys hanging on for our technical difficulties, and I'm so grateful to you for hanging out while we try and figure it out. It is all happening. Gina asked, why do I think I've been able to help so many people? So I have this crazy background that I think is part of my special sauce. So, and Jenny Phillips, by the way, you can just go to Amazon.com and you can get a copy of the book at Amazon. Just Google my name or search my name on Amazon or search Make 'em Beg to publish your book and you will for sure find it. Just came out about 5 days ago. So Gina, why do you think you've been able to help so many authors publish their books? For me, I have this crazy background where I started in theater. Then I did direct response marketing. And while I was doing theater and direct response marketing, the whole time I was working on books as what felt to me like for babysitting money. It was like this thing that I was doing while I was waiting to figure out, have my big break in theater or figure out what I was going to do when I grew up. So everything I teach is a combination of Meisner method for acting, direct response marketing, like internet marketing techniques, and 25 years now of publishing experience. So I have this weird Venn diagram of experience and then I have my own personal passion for books that make a difference. And I really always put the reader first. I always see myself as sort of every reader. And I know exactly what it's like to be looking for a book to have an impact on your life. And that's what's happened. That's what's happened for me is I sort of represent those readers, represent those, the readers, we call them their ideal reader in the program, and kind of represent them. So I think we are pausing the broadcast.
I think I'm here.
And we're here. Oh, no, I see you, but maybe we're just on delay. Did you just switch devices and it worked magically?
It did. I don't know why.
But we're back.
Did that make us lose the broadcast, though?
I know. I don't think so. I'm not on the broadcast anymore. It's just you now, but you look fantastic and we can hear you. I wonder if
I can hear you.
Okay, well maybe they can just hear me. It'll be like a radio interview.
Someone type in if that's true.
I'm so in love with your hair.
Thank you.
It's like amazing. I didn't know it did that. Is that a lot of work?
Is it a lot of work? No.
Oh, looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Well, if you can hear me, I'm happy. I would hit stop camera and see if it would let me put it on again, but I'm afraid it would break things. So
Anthony says he can hear us both. Is that right now? I hear you both. Gina does. Can you see Angela? Go to controls.
Yeah, they just see Cassie, but that's all right. Y'all know how cute I am. Broadcast layout changed by host. You changed the layout.
I think I just started pushing all the buttons earlier when it wouldn't work.
Hey, everybody. Now it's both of us. You can hear us. You can see us. Anything is possible.
I brought champagne.
I know. I have tea, not surprisingly. My favorite thing about Cassie, there's so many of my favorite things about Cassie. One of my favorite things about Cassie is that you can't see it, but we're both basically wearing the same pants today.
We are.
Which probably Lee bought for both of us because we share a stylist. But also Cassie is the only human who has toasted with champagne in every single room and closet and bathtub of the Alker Castle. So that is a unique distinction.
That is true. Oh, that was fun.
Alicia, I love books too, and I love sitting amongst them. It's like, you imagine going to Cassie's house and just rolling around in a pile of $10,000. At my house, we just roll around in books.
Now you have to take a picture of that because I have the rolling around in 10,000. That's what all of my clients do. So,
and then what I need to do is I have to have my clients do boudoir photography, but it's only with books. Cover yourself in books, hide beneath a book, cover with a book. It'll be great.
It'll be awesome. I have 500 books right now. Like, there's so many things I could do.
Yes, we have a concept. Let's run with it. Well, hey, everybody. We're here now. We're ready for you.
We are. I'm just so excited to see you and everybody else.
No, this is a great audience, and thank you all for hanging out. And I don't know if I answered all their questions, so you have to see if they have more.
Me? Or are you talking to me or Robin?
Oh, you.
Oh, yeah. What other questions do you have? What all do you want to talk about?
Oh, Jenny says, what's the easiest way to get started in the whole process? So for me, what I think is the best way to get started writing a book, and what a lot of people do is they want to start by writing. I want you to think about who you're writing to. So for me, writing a book is very relational. And I think even when you did your fiction book, you sort of used that, right, conversational approach that it's like I'm telling a story to a person. I'm not telling a story to, I don't know, the Grand Central Station. You're not announcing it over a PA. You're not posting it on a Wikipedia page. You're like, if you read anything Cassie's written, fiction or nonfiction, it feels like you're sitting down with her with a glass of champagne and she's telling you a story. And that, to me, changes the relationship with the reader and then the opportunities that you have to go deeper with the reader.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. And I did even do that with fiction. Because I've learned that from you. Like, that's the place to start, is not to try and write to Grand Central Station.
It seems like such a good idea.
Right. Now I use the analogy, like, it's like when you're at a cocktail party or whatever, if you like walked in and there's 50 people in the room and you started just like shouting to just talk to everybody, no one would listen. But when you get in a one-on-one conversation and then someone else joins and someone else joins and someone else joins, because you were having like an intimate conversation.
Oh, I love that metaphor. Yeah. So I think, you must say this. Alicia says, I'm curious about what you mean when you say writing a book is the best LOA tool there is. Like, I want to hear your take on that.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one of the best tools. For so many reasons. I've said this, and I always say it, like, writing a book is what makes you the expert. So it's what brings all of that to the forefront. So you literally, I talk all the time, if you follow me, about stepping into your future self and who that is. Like, when you write a book as the authority, you're stepping into your future self for the whole time. Not just based on what you have learned, but how you're teaching, because you're writing. When we write to our ideal reader, you're writing to the person who hasn't found you yet, right? You're writing to that person that you're drawing in. And I literally, I want to remember to tell the real estate story, but I haven't even told you this. So my live Manifest 10K live in January, like, my ideal reader was in the room. Her name was Erica.
I love that when that happens.
I know. And she totally transformed this room, got to watch her physically transform from day 1 to day 3. And I told her, I was like, I've been writing to you for a long time. Like, you've been in my life for a long time. And so you're literally drawing that person into you who needs you most, who you define as the ideal reader. So that's
so like woo-woo and magical, but really, if you think about it from a science perspective, so you're imagining Erica, you're like imagining this person, and then you're saying, okay, well, if Erica needed me, what would I do right now? How would I act? Mm-hmm. Then you begin to act that way. And you're acting that way when you're typing, because you're like, if I was going to help Erica, I would finish this book right now. I wouldn't be whining about all the reasons why I don't want to write. Like, I would just be doing it. Like, so you then become the person who Erica would hire.
Yeah.
Because you're doing all the things that someone Erica would hire would do. So you actually change in the process. And then when Erica sees you, she's like, why haven't I hired her before?
Right.
Like, fantastic. I bet she could help me. And it's because you showed up. There was this Marianne Williamson line when I was my many years of being painfully single. And there's this amazing Marianne Williamson line where she talks about people are, when they're dating, they're waiting for the train to come into the station and the train doesn't stop. And she's like, that's not your train. She's like, you think the train hasn't shown up, but you haven't shown up. You're the one who hasn't shown up. When you show up, the train will stop. You're the one who's not there.
Yeah.
And that's what happens, I think, when you write a book, because you're like, oh, if I'm going to write a book, I must be the authority. So let me show up. And then people are like, oh, are you the authority? Oh, yeah, that's me.
Right. Yeah, I am. I've been practicing as I wrote the book. Yeah. So I think that's number one, the number one way, or one of the reasons. The other reason I say it's a great law of attraction tool is some people know this story and some people don't, but like when I wrote Investing Secrets for a Champagne Life in 3 days, like I had zero plans to do anything with real estate. And within 6 weeks, I was under contract to buy and sell 4 places. Like, it's the energy it creates by being in your own story, but also in your teaching story.
Totally. And like, I think there were like several books that you wrote that while you were writing them or at your publishing party, like you were real estate transactions were happening. Like you were selling, like things were just selling, things that had been on the market for like a week.
Yeah.
Or months, and then they would just sell during your book launch. And it's like, you can think this energy stuff is BS, but when you see it over and over again, it's like, oh, I'm in this high vibe place of like, I'm somebody who hangs out at castles and launches books. And then all of a sudden a property that hasn't been getting a bite is getting one.
Mm-hmm. You got to be wearing the jimmies. I mean, for me, that's also key. Walking around the castle in the jimmies.
Or just photographing them on the stairs.
Right.
Michelle brought up that you're new, that you have a book in bookstores now. And I have to say how awesome it is for me that you are the very first Difference Press author to have a book in bookstores. And when I started my business, 2010, October of 2010, and I knew I was going to have a publishing company, and I imagined books in bookstores. I thought that would take 6 months or so. Like, who knew? It would take 7 years to make that happen. But I always pictured, like, walking into a Barnes & Noble and being able to pick up the books that we worked on. But for a year and 2 months, I did not publish any books because I was just working with authors. It used to take me longer to get books done. And so I signed my first contracts, but I didn't have any books finished. And for a year, I would say to people, I'm a publisher. People would say, what do you do? And I'm a publisher. And I had this overwhelming fear that people were going to ask me, like, oh, what have you published? Nothing yet. Like, someday I'm going to be a publisher. But I would, like, practice what is the answer. Like, oh, I have 5 books under contract. And I would like say that in the mirror, and I would write it down, and I would say the dates my book were publishing, and I would imagine walking into a bookstore and picking up our book off the shelf, and like all that stuff happened. Like it's all happened.
Right.
And it's not because I talked about all the reasons I wasn't really a publisher. It's not because I sat around saying like, I want to be a publisher. I never said the words, I want to be a publisher or I want to publish books. Like from the day I started my business, it was a terrible name. It was called Journey Girl Publishing. And I said, I'm a publisher. The day I started, what do you do? I'm a publisher. I would write it on the like tax forms or like when you'd apply for a credit card and they say, what's your occupation? Or at the doctor's office when they say occupation, the publisher. And like now with your book, it's actually 7 years later, it's actually true.
Yeah. And what I love about that story is you were telling it is like, it takes like a year, like having 5 books in the works and not having them in bookstores yet is like, that's how it really happens. Because it takes a while, right? So like, even though you were acting as if, whatever you want to call it, like it was true. Like you were like, yeah, they're coming out, they're publishing, like, and that's exactly how it goes when you get a publishing deal.
Right. Like when you're, and if you really are a publisher, it's often 3 years. Yeah. And they don't say I'm not a publisher. They're like, those books aren't out yet. They're on their way out. It's all good. And Jenny is asking, do you do personal coaching once someone has a book to help them navigate the publishing process? No, because usually they wrote the wrong book. So I think we should reflect back on your first your first book, even your first book with Difference Press, like right. The Difference process. If you write a book without us, you're most likely going to write the wrong book.
Absolutely, yeah.
Even if you write a book with us, this is like the unfair thing. Like the first time, I think you're really learning. Like, don't you feel like as soon as you finished your first book, you're like, oh, now I'm ready to write a book?
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, now I know how to do it.
Like, oh, I totally get it now.
Yeah.
Usually, it's a different way of looking at publishing. And if you just write the book, like if you came to me with Retired at 32 and we tried to market it, I don't think it would have worked. Like we would have been marketing the wrong thing.
Right. And the thing was, I had a lot of the right things going on in that. Like, I actually was writing that to fill my program. Like, that was my idea, which is one of the things that you teach is like have an end goal and write it to that. But still, it wasn't written to one person. Mm-hmm. There was no ideal reader, so it couldn't be received because I was trying to write to everybody, so nobody got it. Nobody signed up for Manifest 10K after reading that book, I'm pretty sure. Even though I was super proud of my 100+ downloads, you know, when I did my free days. I didn't even know that was a thing, but I did that. Nobody signed up for Manifest 10K or what it was called back then. And I think that's because money. Yep. I think that's because there was no ideal reader. Like I didn't know who I was talking to. I was just talking to talk, basically. Even though the concepts were there.
Here are all my great ideas.
Right. Here's how I did it. Like, this is it. There was no join up. There was no beginning part that said where they were. It was just like, here's what I do. Yeah. And I don't think we could have made that a success afterwards.
Totally. And that's what happens. So Jenny, make sure you're writing the right book. And it's very easy to figure out if you're writing the book. Just go sell it before you publish it. And so she just said, it looks like somebody has a book to help them navigate the publishing process. So before you publish it, just go sell 100 copies. Get 100 pre-orders or get 10 people into the coaching program you're going to sell on the back of it using your book. And then you'll know it works. And then you can invest in the kind of publishing that you want to do and the kind of marketing you want to do.
Mm-hmm. That kind of ties into Alicia's question. When it comes to writing your first book and wanting to establish yourself as the go-to person, is it better to try and find a book topic that solves a problem you notice people are having, or write a book that you wish you had found at some point in your life?
I think that you should write a book that solves a problem that you know how to consistently solve. Yes. So if there's something you know how to do that you've done for yourself, you've helped people do, maybe it's clients, maybe it's friends, but it's like, yes, this is the thing I know how to do. And it might seem really small. Like it might seem like I'm super awesome at organizing kitchens. Like I know where to put the glasses and where to put the plates so you can find everything you want. And you're like, well, I don't know if I want to be the queen of Organize My Kitchen Mountain. Organize My Kitchen Mountain can be the beginning of $1 million business. So if you get that and you're the best in the world at organizing kitchens, you could do almost anything with your clients. You could do life coaching. You can do law of attraction. You can do self-care work. We can build on that. But if you try and this is what most people do. This is my joke or, that commentary I always say. Like people come to me because they want to write a book for self-love for women in transition. It's like nobody's buying a book on self. You cannot be the queen of self-love for women in transition mountain. Like you're just not going to win that award. And so somebody can do that. Oprah can do that, I guess, but it's not you. But you could be the queen of Organize Your Kitchen Mountain. And so find a mountain that you can really own and be the best in the world at.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's key. Like find your mountain and have experience with it. So before I wrote my first book, I had experience, but I also didn't know what I was looking for. Like I had it, but I hadn't paid attention to the success stories. I hadn't paid attention to the patterns that people were having. I hadn't paid attention to where things got off. That once I knew how to write the book, so then when I was on, fourth or fifth, then I knew how to look for, like when I wrote Manifest 10,000, I had been watching the patterns for 2 years. I knew what was going on. I knew how to say it to my ideal reader because I knew what was happening in 90% of my clients' lives, at certain points of the process.
Right. And it was funny because even the number $10,000 is really manifest $100, manifest $100,000, manifest $10,000. The process isn't that manifest a house. The process isn't that different, but even to know your client enough to know that's enough money, but not so much money that it's well, that won't manifest $1 million. I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to believe it's possible. So then it's not possible.
Right.
Manifest $100. Well, that's not really worth my time. So even that, the only way to know it is to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Cool. Do you guys have more questions? I have another, I was just telling this story the other day, another law of attraction story from book writing. When we wrote Double Your Business, I got that idea of that's a real estate term and I wanted to attract realtors. So I was the book's going to be called Double Your Business. And what happened, and this is what happens in LOA, because this is what our brain starts to pay attention to. Once you pick that problem you're going to solve is double your business. Then when I went back and I looked, I realized how many people I had literally helped double their business.
I love that.
I had the stories.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It's I think we are so good at finding evidence. We really are all very good at it.
Yes.
It's usually very negative evidence. If I just asked you right now, tell me 10 things that are fucked up with your business, or 10 things that are fucked up with your kitchen, or 10 things that are fucked up with your body. You'd be oh, well, first of all, my eyebrows are too bushy. And second of all, my calves are too fat. And third of all, you've got them. But when I say, tell me 10 things that are awesome about your kitchen or your body or your business or your website, you're there's this one shirt I look good in. I have this bowl someone gave. It's so hard for us to find all this amazing positive evidence because we don't have practice with it. Nobody's trained us. And it's and then we think we're going to come to a 3-day event or read a book that says hey, find evidence of all the things that are headed in the right direction. And then it's oh, well, that's fixed. No, you've been practicing being an asshole for a long time. You're going to have to practice actually doing the positive work. Maybe not as long, but.
Yeah, but you have to practice it. And I think that's a good point about LOA and this, when you are writing your book, especially if you do it in 3 days like I do, you're practicing that over and over. You're practicing finding the evidence that you are the expert, that you are the go-to, because you're writing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Who else would be writing it?
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds fun.
Super excited. I love all these people. Thank you guys all for tuning in, staying tuned in, and also putting up with our technical difficulties.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what happened there. I did an interview just before, an hour ago. So
I think it's the attack of the microphone, but we made it all work out.
Yeah, it's all perfect. Cool. What else do you want to talk about? Did I miss? I assume you already talked about your new book.
I talked a little about my new book. I want to tell people about, this is my new thing. You haven't heard me talk about this. I can say something new that you don't know. I'm kind of over hour-long webinars.
Yeah.
And
I've been over them for a while.
Oh, you beat me to it. Because I'm such a student. I love nerding out and getting, but I'm okay, get to the point because I got other stuff to do and I'm so busy. So I created this new class. It's 19 minutes I wanted to do it in 15, but then I convinced myself that less than 20 was good enough. This is 19 minutes and 19 seconds, and it is how to generate $250,000 from your book. And you can use that $250,000 to grow your platform so you get traditional publishers begging to work with you, or you can use that $250,000 to go to Tuscany, which is what I recommend. Either one works. Buy a lot of really good champagne. So if you go to quartermillionbook.com, you can get that 19-minute class. Hopefully you've given us 19 minutes already. Hopefully you have another 19 minutes for me. And I will tell you exactly, step by step, how to make $250,000 from your book. quartermillionbook.com. That is the free gift that goes along with Make 'em Beg to Publish Your Book, which is on Amazon now, where you can find all of Cassie's books.
Right, all 7. As well as possibly your local bookstore, Manifest 10,000, right?
Have you gone into a bookstore yet?
They don't have it in Denver yet. I have gone.
I want that picture.
I know. I drug my niece in the other day. I was like, she's like, I want to go home. I'm like, we got to stop. We're close. We're going in. I'll buy you a book. Like,
awesome.
Yeah. So she got a book, but I will find the picture. And if you have gone into your bookstore, like, take the picture, share it with us.
Oh yeah, totally. Actually, that's a great point. I think I'm going to ask Paul if he wants to take a ride to Barnes & Noble tonight.
Yes.
I'm going to check our Barnes & Noble, and then I'll beat you to it.
Oh, okay. Nobody I would rather have beat me to it.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, super fun to chat with you. I want to catch up more soon because I'm like miss you and I love you, and I'm so excited about your book being in bookstores, and I want to hear everything that you're up to. Do you have another live event coming up soon? What are you doing?
Another live event in October. I'm actually going to be on the local news here in Denver on Thursday. National Millionaires Day was a couple days ago, so I'm going to be on Fox 31 talking about money mindset. And yeah. I
like Millionaires Day.
Right?
Fantastic. What was Alicia asking us? If she's good at lots of stuff, what should she do?
Oh, yeah. What would you say to like read? What do you say now to read the difference first? You had to narrow it. Is there a process?
Yeah, if you had to narrow the thing you're good at. So definitely read the Difference book. And you can go to thedifferencebook.com to get that. It'll just redirect you to Amazon, but it's just easier. But that's what I would say for you. But Alicia, here's the deal. Another book, not mine, to read. Have you ever read The Big Leap?
Parts of it.
I love The Big Leap. There's a concept in this book that really helped me a lot. And Alicia, I think it'll help you. It's the difference between your zone of excellence and your zone of genius. So when you say you know how to do lots of things, I suspect that's your zone of excellence. So I'm really good at stage management, and I'm really good at social media marketing, and I'm really good at writing copy. Like I actually am. And honestly, one of my problems, and I've talked to Gina Catalano about this, is I'm actually not bad at managing teams and building systems. I wish I sucked at it more. Because I'm good enough at it to be dangerous.
Yeah.
Now, I am zero good at doing taxes. I have never, even the most simple 1040 easy, I have never done my taxes. When I was 15 years old, and I worked at Kinney Shoes, Alan Williams did my taxes. It was my mom's tax guy. He was my tax guy until like 3 years ago. Hi, Sharon. And so I'm not dangerous with taxes. I'm not like, maybe I should do them, right? But the truth is, writing copy and doing stage management and helping people with their social media campaigns, those are all my zone of excellence, but they're not my zone of genius. My zone of genius is helping people take a book idea for a book that could change people's lives and turn it into a 6 or 7 figure business. I do that better than anyone else in the world. And anything I do that is not that's not spending time with authors, is really like stuff other people could do better than me. If there was a gun to my head and I had to get you booked on Denver TV for Millionaire Week, like, I'm sure I could. Like, I could be functional at that. But there is somebody who is like made for getting people on TV. That's like what he or she is doing on the planet. Let them do that, Alicia, and trust that for you, there is a zone of genius. There's a thing that you are better at than anyone in the world right now at this time in your life. And like, commit to finding that and dropping the other stuff. And the fears that it's not there. Because that was my biggest thing, is like, maybe I'm not good at anything. You know, I wanted to be a personal injury attorney.
Right.
Because I was like, maybe there's nothing I'm really good at. I'll just be a personal injury attorney. I'm good at arguing.
Yeah. And I think, right? I think that's hard. Like, that's one of the best things I ever learned from you, was to like own my zone of genius and trust. And part of this was actually meeting other different Press authors who were really much better at certain things I was okay at. But like, I used to, like, the first process I learned in coaching, like, I could solve any problem. Right. So I had nobody, like, I could do this, I could do this, I could work with 14-year-olds, I could work with 65-year-olds, I could do, like, but, you know, as I've let that go, as the more that I've, you know, owned my zone of genius.
Yeah, that's the key. That's my 2 cents.
Love
the
it.
kitten has awoken.
Oh, are you going to, yeah.
She'll probably run away from me. What are you doing, princess? Let's see if she'll come say hello to everybody. Hi, you're doing a downward dog? So you name it a downward kitten?
Hi, Sharon. Angela was talking. I didn't get to say hi.
All right. So I'm going to leave you guys with some kitten time.
Oh.
Look, can you say hello to everybody? She's like, but I'm sleepy. She's very sleepy. Can you smile? Okay. Okay. All right. Oh, yay, Sharon. Oh, Cassie, she referred someone to you. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, you guys. Well, that was super fun. I am going to go play with the kitten because by the way, this is my newest relaxation technique. Is that, like, get a kitten and then you have to play with it because it will insist.
Right.
And I'm not good at, like, forcing myself to play with myself, but the kitten I'll play with anytime. I keep buying kitten toys. It's fantastic.
Aww.
Play is always the answer.
I love it. Love you, Sharon.
Thanks, Devin. Well, thank you guys all for being here. I hope you enjoyed this Facebook Live. Thanks for hosting it, Cassie.
Yeah, thank you. See you soon.
See you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.